We got smoothie. We did. And a bagel. There's another bagel over there too. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Howdy.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Well, I'm getting over sickness. I've been sick since last Wednesday.
My God.
I mean, I'm in recovery for sure. Like I was able to work yesterday and the day before, but I had to miss a lot of work
Mm.
over the last week. And I also was so deranged that I thought we had Sunday service yesterday or last week.
Hmm.
And I like told all of social media about it and how we would be there, and then
Oh
immediately
no.
had to be like, just kidding.
Oh my God.
I was just really excited to do something and see people. I had been in the house for so many fucking days,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah, man. I'm sorry.
So I'm in recovery, but I still have like a snot nose and a stupid cough and like,
I'm
yeah,
glad that your brain is there at least.
yeah. Well, it's there now. It's been
Yeah.
there. Um, and I've been excited for today because I was like, all right, since we don't have Sunday service that last weekend, that gives me another week to like think about all the things that I want to do moving forward after this, after today.
Hmm.
And then I just gave myself permission to just not do actually anything except for
Mm.
like take care of myself, you know?
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm pretty tired. I actually, when I was in Arkansas, like shortly before you just came in here, you don't get to get mad about not being able to get out. You pushed your way in a closed door.
Mhm.
Um, anyway, so my phone, most likely got stolen. Um, so that was really
Oh
stressful,
no.
on one of the last days that I was in Arkansas. And, so then I came back up here and I had no phone. So I just got a new phone, um, like Thursday night and I have it now. However, I was able to get a lot of my stuff like recovered, but not my photos. So I only have the photos that I can find in messages with people that I've sent them, and none of my artwork from my drawing app is saved. I'm trying to, that's what I was working on before our meeting was I was trying to see if there's any way to recover my account. I tried logging into the drawing app, but apparently I didn't create an account with the email that I thought I did. So I don't know if I even did create an account or if I was just drawing without having linked an
Man.
account. So pretty stressed out about that. I got to try to figure that out. And but I was able to at least get my contacts and um, some other stuff saved over.
Mm.
But yeah, I'm at least glad that I have a phone and it is kind of cool. It's a Galaxy uh S26 Ultra. So it comes with this little pen, this little
Ooh.
stylus, and it's actually really cool. It's better than the styli that I normally use. And and my person showed me that if I put it in backwards, because there's like a bevel corner,
Hmm.
if I put it in backwards, then it sticks out a little bit more. Um,
You can
and
get it better.
yeah, exactly. It's easier for me to get out. Like that was a people were saying they didn't like that it was a beveled edge so that it had to go in just a certain way, but
Mm.
I realized that actually works in my favor.
That-
Um, but yeah, I'm pretty
What was your
excited.
phone before? I have the Galaxy 20 plus 5G or something like that.
Um, I think it was a 21, like
Oh,
just
really?
the general 21.
I thought I
Yeah.
always had a better phone than you for some reason.
Well, you probably did, because before that one I had an S9.
I
And
had the S9
actually,
before too.
oh, well, okay.
Weird.
Very weird. Well, mine always seems to be bogged down with memory. So maybe the performance was just better on your phone. Maybe that's what
You
it
know what it is?
was.
I think it's because like if I see a screenshot from you, your font is always like big and like it looks like a step up from a cricket. The way, you know, you know what I mean? So I
Yeah,
just assume that you, and also you're like bad at texting, and I don't know. I just assumed that you had a phone that was like loser-y.
no. Well, I'm worse at texting now because I have to get used to a new keyboard. And AI is packed into like every corner of this phone. I'm having to manually go in and like disable some things, but I keep finding new things and I'm like, how do I even turn this off? And so it's making assumptions for me that I don't agree with. And so I have to go back and change stuff and then it's just a mess. And like my muscle memory, I have very strong muscle memory. So like I just have to do something a couple times before it's baked in for like ever,
So you're
which
really
means
good at making new habits, is what you're saying?
when it comes to my fingers, yeah. I mean, they're clumsy, but they know what they're doing for the most part. And so now I keep doing things that worked on my old phone that don't on this phone. And I have to like it's really hard to overwrite that muscle memory. It's easy to
Hmm.
accumulate muscle memory, but then it's harder to
Yeah.
overwrite it.
It's so, and sometimes I adjust the my keyboard because I keep like I'm bad at digital keyboards. I have been for
Hmm.
a long time. And when it was time to switch from BlackBerry to like digital keyboard, I fucking made a fuss about it. But
Hmm.
like because of that, so I'm always when all my typos are because like the N is next to the space bar or
Hmm.
the E is next to the three or something like that.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll adjust it because same my fingers and they also get a little lazy. So I
Hmm.
want them to be able to get lazy, especially if they're texting a lot and I don't have to like pay too much attention.
Yeah.
And it really takes me a lot of concentration to be like
Yeah. And like I have to figure out too, like my old keyboard, when you held down the A, it would show you it would default to an exclamation mark. And then if you want to change it from the exclamation mark to one of the fancy A's, then you would just slide your finger over while it's held down. And I'm used to that.
hmm
Well, now my keyboard does not have the exclamation mark as the default for holding down the A. It doesn't have any of the punctuation as the default for the corresponding letter. So I have to actively click on the numbers icon, which means half the time I am trying to use punctuation that normally I can just hold down the corresponding letter. And
hmm
I just end up with these random accented vowels
Yeah,
um,
I
instead of the
know this struggle. This
punctuation.
is like email hell. That we're in the same school of that's an email. And like I loved, yeah, I had to, I use a third party texting app now.
Mm,
And I have for a while so that if I get a new phone, I can have this app and I still, for the most part, has the shit where they go.
hmm. That's pretty
That
smart.
is such hell. That
And
is,
Samsung did this thing recently where in a recent update that was affecting my partner's phone, but not mine yet. And of course, now with a new phone, I have no option. It's updated. But it's when your phone is in landscape mode and you use the keyboard, there's a split. And it splits the keyboard in half. And I'm like, you never had to do this before. Why do you have to do it now? I don't like this
yeah.
change, and I can't figure out how to not have it not
There's
do that.
definitely a way to make it not split, but it's like in a setting, in a setting, in a setting.
Hmm.
I love Android. I love non-iPhones because they're
Hmm.
so um
Customizable.
customizable, but like sometimes I do want a simple fucking life with less choices. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Sometimes I'm like, maybe I do want to learn something very, very simple and like not have to put too much brain power into it. But also things like the iPhone are not intuitive in a way that like my hands like to work or my eyes like to see. Like it's not set up for that. It's set up for like whatever developer's eyes
yes.
felt at that moment, not what the general um, Gen Pop is doing with their phones and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, the choices and customization can be overwhelming at first, but I'd rather have those as an option than have them decide for me what I want, at least when it comes to technology, because like my brain can be very finicky with stuff. And if I do get choice fatigue, but when it comes to technology, if I don't have any choices and I have to adapt to what you're presenting with me, um, I might lose it.
Yeah. I
Like
know.
I work
It's
with tech
something,
every day.
yeah,
I need
every
things to be
day.
just so. And if
Yes.
I don't have a way to get it to be just so, and you're telling me what will work best for my brain, we're gonna throw hands. And it drives me crazy that my mother is forced to use an iPhone because she has even more special brain needs
Mm-hmm.
as an older person who's not exactly tech savvy. And the fact that this developer who created this nonsensical phone is telling her this is how things need to be, and she can barely use Google. So like this is not good. This is not good design.
Yeah.
And my uncle is steadfast on having her use an iPhone. So none of us can help her when she's having tech issues.
I switched
Um,
my grandma over to an iPhone in her last days, and I was like, what in the fuck are you doing? Why
yeah.
would you give an 80 plus year old an iPhone who's never had this technology before?
Oh my gosh. Give her a jitterbug. That's crazy. No 80-year-old needs an iPhone.
Mm.
Like absolutely crazy. But yeah, no, I'm totally with you on that one. It's a lot. Also, it's huge, but I had to get the one that had the most available memory because I always, always, always run into the thing where I run out of space on my phone. Always.
Mhm.
And so my partner was like, you know what? Um, let's just pull the trigger
Just do
on,
it.
yeah, the one that you can get today. There were more, like the smaller ones did have bigger memory options, but I would have had to order it and I needed a phone.
Yeah.
So it's just like go
I
with the
like it
most
when the
expensive
choice
one.
is because of that,
Yeah.
honestly, or else I just won't choose anything.
Yeah.
Um, I have to go get them, but I have two books that I started on,
Oh,
and one is very easy to read, and I'm almost done with it. So I'm excited to talk
nice.
about books. Let me get up and grab those real quick.
Yeah,
But I also
totally.
have
I'll
some
start
other
pulling
things I
stuff
want
up.
to.
Mhm.
I finally got a little book lamp so that I can read in bed if when I like wake up at night or like if I'm not tired yet.
Mhm.
I don't want to watch TV. One of my work colleagues was like, get a book lamp. And I was like, oh yeah. So I finally, after weeks of trying to do that, did it. And
Very
then
nice.
I put it in the spot and then finally turned it on after a week. You know what I mean? Like it takes like weeks to get each little step together so that when
Right.
you're there ready to do it, you don't have to do any work. It's just set up. So that process took me
Mhm.
a really long time. And I've been reading, somebody suggested it to me. I was talking about something and they're like, get this book. It sounds like what you're talking about. It's called The Four Agreements. I
No.
feel like this is something that um if Savvy had a spiritual element to her book reviews for like not self-help, but like guidance, self-guidance or whatever, she would have read and reviewed this.
Yeah.
Have you heard of it?
No, I don't think I have. I mean, it sounds vaguely familiar, but I've not heard anything said about it.
I think it's
But
really
it seems
popular.
like something that's right up your alley just based on the title and the front
Yeah,
alone.
a Toltec wisdom book. It's just by Don Miguel Ruiz. And it basically is just about the four agreements that you make for yourself that guide your life in the path of like
Hmm.
living in the present and making choices based off these four agreements that you decide for yourself. Um, and yeah, it is very like in line with the way that I run my life already.
Hmm.
Just with some structure. So it's kind of nice to like, I think it's easy for me to read because it's all very familiar information. Plus, it's written like a story almost, like
Oh,
not like a story, like an old man telling this story. So it's repetitive in ways where he'll be like, let me see if there's an example. Um, so one of the agreements is, hold on now. Hold on now. Um, be impeccable with your word. So the repetitive parts are like the first agreement is impeccable with your word. So it says impeccable with your word over and over and over again throughout the whole chapter. Um, and I don't know. So I guess it just like reiterates and it gives examples of how to um be impeccable with your word, like using different language, very casual language, not like clinical or demanding, but it's like, I think this was written a long time ago. I should have figured out more information. Um, anyway, it's very easy to read and I'm more than halfway done and I've only picked it up 3 times. So it's a very easy, quick
Wow,
read. Yeah.
that's
It's not
awesome.
challenging.
Especially like, yeah, it makes it more accessible.
Right.
Like being
And I can
someone
read
with
it when I'm tired.
dyslexia, the fact that you
Yeah.
can read it when you're tired, you can read it without, it being too much of a challenge to get through, and that you've only picked it up 3 times and you're already like that far into it. That's a great sign for
Yeah.
accessibility for different people.
And my intention, like it took a long time, obviously, to get to the point where I can read a book because all the
Hmm.
bells and whistles are there now.
Hmm.
But I had to have the intention that I wanted to start reading at night or in general for a while because it's been a minute since I've
Hmm.
really been able to read since you introduced me to Booksprout. I was like after I read half or most of the book that I'm still reading or
Hmm.
haven't gotten to in a while. I just haven't really been able to read much. I bring
Yeah.
books around with me, but like I can't open it for more than a second.
Mm.
The second book is just called Meditations. Um, it's by, well, it's books that a Greek Marcus Aurelius
Oh, okay.
wrote. It was apparently meant to be private. He wrote it in like 160 AD or something.
Mm.
And then it was found and published, or not found, but like published eventually in the 1500s. And it's like 9 books or something.
Yeah.
And it
Marcus
is,
Aurelius was very, very wise. So I bet you'll
mm,
find some amazing insights in there.
it's very cool. Also, I'm having a very similar experience with like these 2 books I feel like are going together really well
Oh, I
because
love that.
these books are his accounts on what he learns from everyone in his life. And he was like, obviously was like a celebrity in Greek times because of
Hmm.
being born into the family that he was. But it basically says what he learns from each person and how he lives his life. And these books were just for him to his own guide. And it's also very familiar to me
Hmm.
as I read it. So it's more difficult to read because the language isn't the same as we talk now.
Right.
Um, but it's not making me mad because I understand
And
most of it.
also, with older books like that, or books with more archaic language, the more you read it, the more you stretch those muscles in your brain, the more familiar you're going to become with the language, so that by the end of it, it's not even that much of a struggle. And you could probably pick up another book from a similarly period
Mm,
Greek author or musings and understand a little bit better. That's kind of what's happening with me right now because I've been reading some. I started reading Austen era books.
mm,
So like Jane Austen books, but then also I'm reading currently in Anne Radcliffe book, which is from the same period of time, which I only came to understand because one of Jane Austen's book was satirizing that type of book. Um, and so I found it interesting, like I'm a context hoarder. So once you mention something, I need it. I need to know all of it so that I
like little
understand where you're
pockets and
coming at
things.
it. Yes. So after I finished that book, I immediately went on a side quest to have this other book, which is available in a 30-hour audiobook. So I'm taking that in pieces. And it also is more, not quite as archaic language, obviously, as the 1500s book, but it's like late 1700s and takes place in the 1500s, but obviously not written in that same style.
Hmm.
And it's like after a while, your brain starts getting used to the language,
Like the
and then
patterns and stuff.
right. And so now it's like when I'm listening to it out loud, my partner will be like, I have no idea what they're saying. I'll be like,
Mm,
actually, I do. And it's not because I'm smarter. It's just because I've been listening to it for so long that it's just clicking more.
hmm.
And you start getting used to the phrases like when I'm watching a movie version of a previous novel that I read from that same era, I'll be watching it and I'll be cackling or gasping or whatever. And I'll realize that the stuff that I'm reacting to, if my partner's next to me, they're not also reacting to it. And it's because some of the phrasings I become more familiar with, they don't mean the same thing to, someone who's not been paying, experiencing the same phrasings. Like words and phrases just don't mean the same thing now as they did back then. And seeing them in context so much makes it more familiar. So it's just like second nature now. And I think
Yeah.
that's really, really cool and really important. And it also highlights the importance of reading stuff from different time periods and also different contexts as well. So you're stretching different
Yeah.
muscles of your brain too.
That is so fucking interesting because I don't know, I think about language a lot
Mhm.
because speaking I don't really think is well, I'm like learning that speaking really wasn't people's it's not babies like first language. And then we learn language and then we stop using our other ways of communicating, like using our feelings and intuition and psychic abilities.
Mm.
So learning English, translating feelings into English language or spoken word is its own thing. Then
Hmm.
let alone the way that people organize their words and letters to like form a
Hmm.
sentence and an idea.
Right. And the way language is ever evolving as well.
Mhm.
So, like the way that language just goes into time period, context, and things like that also is reflective of like the culture of the times.
Mm,
So, the way that people express themselves now versus the way they express themselves 100 years ago, 50 years ago, 1,000 years ago, um, it's reflective of the way that they themselves, in the context of where they live, have interpreted their own feelings alongside society.
yeah,
And I think that's really
wild.
cool.
That is really cool.
But yeah, I love that you're getting into that. I love that you're reading something so unique and different.
Yeah. And I'm back to like doing because I'm trying to get my mornings back.
Mhm.
Um, and trying to spend time in the mornings doing all the things that I used to do that kept me healthy, like breathing and doing yoga and reading. I like
Mhm.
doing all the things, doing a tarot reading or journaling in a specific way. And habit tracking. I put my habit tracker back together.
Nice.
Um, so I'm relying on my muscle memory to like do that. And like one of the things I liked to do was read something out of a book in some sort of spiritual way. So that's what I'm doing with the meditations book. Is I'm just reading it until I feel satisfied or until I'm done reading, and then that's it. And sometimes it's a line, sometimes it's a paragraph, and sometimes it's like 5 pages.
Hmm. Yeah, sometimes you just got to start with a line and see where it
Yeah.
goes.
What about
I
you?
love that. Um, in relation to,
Any books you're reading? Also, if any, it's 2 o'clock now, so if anyone is
oh,
jumping on now, we're still talking about books, so we'll start planning when we start it.
yeah.
What do you
Um,
have going on with books?
I've been reading, like I said, a lot of more classic literature. I'm currently reading
Mm.
Mysteries of Udolpho, for the purpose of getting context for like the difference between the Gothic horrors that were really popular at the time, um, versus the Witty Austen books that kind of poked fun at that, which is still not bad compared to some of the other novels that were written around the same time period. But it's been really interesting, and it's kind of gotten me in a little hyperfixation mode of that area and that time period and the societal limitations and kind of growth. Um, but then also I have my book sprout read that I am jumping back to is called Gilded, and it's like a Cinderella story, but with little gay schoolboy. And instead of Prince Charming, um, it's a music scholarship. And instead of stepmother and stepsisters, it's stepfather and stepbrothers. And the love interest is not the main focus of like the identity aspect of it. Personally, I'm almost done with it. It's a novella. It's got a lot of heart, There are some aspects about the stakes that don't feel very realistic.
Mm,
Um, like the whole classic, oh, they'll never love or accept me if they find out this, that, or the other, which would make more sense if we were talking about the 17 or 1800s. But it's a modern day story with smartphones, and it's like no one is going to think less of you for being an orphan. That's kind of silly.
hmm,
Like saying that your boyfriend, who's been nothing but kind and sweet and supportive, is going to think less of you if he finds out that you're an orphan living with your stepdad and stepbrothers. Like that's not really a thing, in my
hmm.
opinion. But if you think a little bit more about it, maybe it could speak to the way that he's been like abused by his family that's kind of affected his mindset. Um,
Yeah, because
but
where did
also
he learn to feel shameful about that?
And the way that like the stepfather and stepbrothers are constantly saying like because they can't have anyone in society knowing the truth. And it's like once your mother died, um, I could not have been expected to keep you as my son. There's no reason that I should be caring for another man's son. And it's been my own kindness that even though you were supposed to inherit all of her fortune, I have it now. And you're not going to get any of it if I decide you don't get any of it. So it's my own kindness that I'm letting you stay here. And no, you're not supposed to go after this, and you're supposed to be my slave, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, these are all normal things. And if you tell
Mm,
anyone about any of this, that's going to be shameful for you, not us. Everybody's going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe you took this kid in. Nobody takes in kids from other marriages. Like,
right.
that's not accurate for this time period, the way it would have been in like a Cinderella story.
Hmm.
But it, I guess it plays into the mindset of someone who has been in this toxic environment for so long. So I guess it's just about, in this particular book, reading a little bit between the lines as far as like the suspension of disbelief because of the fact that your disbelief comes from a more like from a distance of the mindset that has probably been warped. Like it's not talking about all the aspects of what he's saying is ridiculous because his brain has been melded to think that this is fact. It's just kind of like, this is fact, period, the end.
So it's from his perspective of this is how the world works.
It seems that way. Like, even though it's written in third person, um, and it's third person omniscient, so it's like anybody, it's not just from like his thoughts, it jumps around to other people's thoughts, which is something my brain doesn't like. But
Hmm.
it is, it's fine. It's not as distracting as it has been in other books that I've read like that. But but yeah, the understanding is that the way that he's perceiving the world is how the world is, and that we shouldn't be questioning that the world is like this. So it's not like other books that give the hint that maybe there's an unreliable narrator, especially since it's third party, it's third person omniscient. But um, as I'm talking about it out loud, I'm thinking maybe it is still, even though it's third person omniscient, it's still an unreliable narrator situation in that the minds that
Mm.
this keeps jumping between are the minds of a very warped worldview. So that kind of makes me appreciate it a little bit more. Anyway, it's called Gilded. It's a short story by an indie author, and I got it from Booksprout. I'm past due on like all my Booksprout things, by the way.
Mm.
But that's just because lots of things happen when shortly after I check them out, and now I'm just kind of vibing and reading them at leisure.
Instead of like a job.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Like part of me wishes that I could have done it sooner because like obviously I want to be more prompt for the sake of the indie authors, but now it's just like I'm just gonna get through these when I get through them. I'm gonna leave my reviews, and I no longer need to continuously check out more because I've got a good stash. And I think once I finish all the ones that I have, I'm not sure if I'll get more right now or not, but I've got plenty of books that I can read after that too. So we'll just take it one at a time.
Cool.
But yeah, Gilded's a pretty cute story. Suspend disbelief as understanding that the worldview is not accurate because it's warped, it's skewed by the experience of the main people that it's circling. So there's
Yeah.
that. But it's definitely an interesting story.
Cool. It
So
sounds
there's a book.
intense, but topical. I also have before we start, I want to mention that I am ready to get stoner queer going again. So we need money somehow because
Mm,
I want to start it. I'm really missing like that element of like creating.
mm-hmm.
And I also have decided to start a New York City salon directory that
Oh.
is a place where licensed beauty industry professionals can review salons they worked in under a set of criteria so that stylists can go to this and see what other stylist experiences are
Mm-hmm.
in all of these salons. And then a secondary benefit is that clients can go and they can decide to choose a salon that treats their stylists well, like human
Oh,
people, not like sweatshop employees.
right.
So I've been working on that all day today, and I think it's just gonna be like a little website. I'm gonna create some QR codes, and I'm just gonna tell other stylists that I know and trust, one, but two, make it so that they can share it with their colleagues who can submit reviews to it. And like criteria like pay model. Like, is it commission, hourly? What's the vacation? Is there time off? What's the payment method? Like, is it fucking paper check or is it Venmo or is it W-2?
Mm-hmm.
With direct deposit, how are tips? What are the price points? The second one is management and culture. So, like, does management respect and communicate with us? How is scheduling done? Conflict resolution, just overall support. T talent and team. So what are the stylists like there? What kind of work are they producing? Diversity of specialties, professionalism, things like that. The other criteria is clientele, so demographics of the clientele that like to go there, their price expectations, their respect for the stylist time and boundaries and retention. Like, or do they build relationships or are they like one and done? They go somewhere else new every day or
Mm-hmm.
every time, or do they come once a year? And then support and structure. So like equipment, lighting, shampoo bowls, color availability, front desk support, booking systems, cleanliness, marketing. So these are like the major things that I want to know when I'm considering a studio space to practice
Mm-hmm.
my job. Um, and I've worked in a lot of salons. So my directory will already be starting with probably 20 spaces. I worked in so many spaces. And then depending, and so once I get that, remember when I was making the directory for Stoner Queer? Maybe this is why I want to bring Stoner Queer back. I was thinking about that. So obviously I'm thinking about building another directory and how that's going to look.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I do have a nice little structure going that excuse me, I'll be wanting to share with you,
Yeah,
get opinions or something.
I'm excited. That's great.
Yeah. My ultimate dream would be to somehow start a union for hairstylists because I'm fucking sick of this shit. I cannot believe that there's no union here. None of us are protected.
Mm-hmm.
Not one of us are protected. And that's not fair because we're in charge of how people look. And we
True.
serve these people every single fucking day. And I don't think that it's too much to ask um for a safe place to practice.
Mm-mm. Not at all. You guys, you listen to problems, you take people's appearance in your hand, and sometimes there's even more to it than appearance because, coming out of the salon feeling a certain way, how you feel as yourself can affect a lot of other aspects of your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
There's a lot of trust that gets involved, and yeah, I definitely feel like you guys should get more than you have.
more everything. More fucking everything. Makeup artists have a union. Well, actually, no, they don't. It's not makeup, it's hair and makeup in film.
Oh.
And it's kind of like a union.
Hmm.
Anywho, that's what I've been working on, and I just feel like I can't wait to get busy. And I haven't been able to go to the gym at all because I don't want to like goober up the whole fucking place and like cough all over every machine, obviously.
Yes.
So, I'm just excited to get to the fucking week, man.
Hmm.
And also, last thing, Laura and I committed to a half season tickets of the WNBA Liberty basketball again, and the tickets were much more expensive. Um, but I don't care. It's a good seat, and I'm pumped to know that I have something planned from May until September.
Yeah, man. I'm pumped for you. That's really exciting.
Yeah.
Everybody support it. Oh, goodness. Sorry.
Oh, we're tired.
Oh, yeah, man. Oh, yeah.
Do you have any last updates,
Um,
comments, complaints, concerns?
our snake Bubbles might be a girl.
Huh?
W-
You have
Our
a snake?
snake, yes, Bubbles.
Is this a new snake?
No, this is a snake that we caught on our rodent glue trap a while back.
Oh, right.
That one, yeah. It might be a girl. We're not sure. So we just keep
Okay.
using all the pronouns. Um, but
Maybe they're gender fluid and sometimes they're a girl and sometimes they're not a girl.
um, yeah, maybe Bubbles is gender fluid.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Maybe they're
who
gender
knows?
queer.
We have no idea, but it's we're just gonna assume that she goes by any and all pronouns because that's what we're doing at this point. We just keep alternating.
It's like a stuffed
Um,
animal. It's he or she, and sometimes one sticks, sometimes one doesn't.
yeah. Oh, cacti also. We found a
Mm,
bunch of unique cacti at the Walmart, and so we got little baby cacti, and now we seem to be collecting those as well. So
cute.
that's fun.
Okay.
Alrighty, well, we shall start our planning. So this is now that we've been here for a minute, let me get to my little facilitation thingy. So this is Sunday service. We usually start with 30 to 60 minutes of just book talk and talking and doing whatever, which we've done for about, I guess, 40-ish, 30-ish minutes. Um, and we also we use this meeting as like a neurodivergent meeting, and we focus on structure and accountability, and showing up for yourself, which means practicing time management, self-care, and grace for yourself, making realistic plans, defining what on time means for that day, delegating when needed, and building rest and joy into our days. So, some tips for a successful planning meeting. We want to honor the moment by setting the tone. Because this is a ritual, we want to be present and curious and grounded so that we can stay inspired. We want to curate our vibe with lighting, music, comfortable clothes, handling our basics like snacks and stretching and water, grabbing our tools like pens, notebooks, laptops, calendar, things that help you focus. And we want to use our resources. So we have a visual that we use for a timer, that's on our channel, and also I'll use it during the meeting. And then we also have a Notion template that you can copy to your own Notion account. Um, and let me share my screen for our visuals. Mm, and application window. There we go. Mm, all right. So we do this in four sections. We do our brain dump for 20 minutes. Then we do our reflective questions for 10 minutes. We spend 15 on a top 20. And then the fourth part is where we add things to our calendar for 10 minutes. So starting off is our brain dump, which there's no right or wrong way to do it. You just take whatever's taking up space in our brains and just spit it out onto paper or into Notion or whatever. And it could be list form, it could be text, it could be both. And just anything that pops into your head, just jot it down. And then we'll add more structure to it later. We'll take 20 minutes for that, and then we'll come back and move on to your reflective questions.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. All right. So that is our brain dump. How'd we do?
Pretty good. Right before you got on, I was like working on my website and creating these things. So I went back and forth between brain dumping and then designing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really just turning into a journaling thing because there's like a couple of things on my mind that are like distracting me and preventing me from like being distracted, I guess. Just like relationship shit, you know? Like everything's fine until I remember this one thing, and then I'm like, ugh, I know that I can't like move forward with this one thing happening.
Mm-hmm.
But there's like very valid reasons why I can't just and why I won't just approach it and solve it because I'm not the only one involved.
Yeah.
And it is a safety thing. Like I don't
Yeah.
feel safe doing it. So like I feel like everything that I do is going around this thing, you know? And it's just there. It's just fucking there. So I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to um like how I'm going to change in order to not be affected by it. And that's where I'm at. What about you?
Okay. Um, I am kind of having similar struggles, not necessarily with relationship, but with getting past things, but mine's more of like an internal thing. And I am going to be under medicated for a minute because I can't seem to get in touch with my doctor. And
Oh no.
apparently, I'm out of refills on stuff. And so I'm going to have to deal with the mental blocks of things like my brain is kind of on power saving mode. Even when I get these little bouts of hyperactivity, there's
Yeah,
still limited brain power there. Um, and
I
I've
get
kind of
that.
been struggling that this weekend. And I'm looking at stuff around me. I'm like, there's so many things I need to do. And I was doing really well while I was medicated. And now that I'm unmedicated, I'm kind of like backsliding a little bit. So I'm trying to focus on the fact that this is temporary and eventually I'll get back on track and I need to not shame myself for this. This is just going to be a trying period in between right now and when I get remedicated and the lapse is recovered and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And you know what to expect because this happens before, so it's also
mhm.
an opportunity to tweak it a little more so that maybe the next time that it's eventually eventually going to happen, it can be, a little less painful.
Yeah, because it is a struggle. I was feeling really, really good about myself. And then the last week or so, everything's kind of started falling off track. And I just realized today, I'm like, please don't let this send me back. And then I'm like, my brain is not working because I'm unmedicated. And that is valid. And
And also that is not in your hands.
yeah,
If it were up to you, you wouldn't be lapsed, but the
hmm
control is not in your hands. So how
yeah.
could you feel shame for that? You have
And
no
like
control over it.
not having just a simple thing of not having my phone for a period of time also threw my entire world upside down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just now getting used to having like getting into the place of having my phone back and I'm doing things that I can to put things back into place, but it is still a process, kind of like you were with your books and getting everything just so. I need to get everything just so for my brain to work right. And the phone was a big part of that, and the medication is another big part of that. And
Mm-hmm.
so I have to start getting pieces back into place. And so I'm trying to have grace with that fact. But it's kind of like you, where it's like, even though it's not another person, there's things that I physically cannot control that are affecting this block.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just a matter of adapting to that and giving the grace for that adaptation.
Yeah. And it takes as long as it takes. That's the
Mhm.
mantra. It fucking takes as long as it takes. And it doesn't take the same amount every single time necessarily.
Yeah,
So no expectations on how much time it takes, you
it's true.
know, for things to react to, because like our brains really like the structure of like, oh, when this happens, I feel this way. But like our brain will expect a thing that will expect a feeling when a thing happens when maybe our body actually isn't going to react that way this time,
Hmm.
you know? So being mindful of like, for me, it means being mindful of actually checking in with my body, seeing how I feel instead of just expecting the same results every time,
Yeah.
you know, because I am growing and evolving and my brain is trainable. It does get smart. It does whatever I want it to do. If I want it, if I know I want it to do that. Um, so the habit of the feelings that we get when things go awry is something that should be checked on,
Hmm.
I think is what I'm getting at, right?
Yeah, I think so. That makes sense.
Hmm.
Well, it's good that our brain dump is for getting stuff off of our mind that is keeping us from moving forward. And we kind of both did reflection on that.
Hmm.
Um, so moving into that same reflective mindset, we have our reflective questions, which is where we ask ourselves questions about the past week, if we have the mindset to do so. And we ask ourselves things like, how was the week? How did I perform in all of my roles? And goals and why, what worked, what didn't work, what can I do differently, and what needs following up on. And the purpose of this is not to shame ourselves for any shortcomings. It's to kind of focus on reworking things and try to do better for the next week. And also a memory exercise to think back on stuff that sometimes we might have forgotten until we make ourselves think about it. So we'll take about 10 minutes for that, and then we'll come back and do our top 20.
Great. Thank you.
Mhm. All right. How'd we do?
Um, Pretty good. I am trying not to reflect too hard on last week since I was really not a
Mhm.
person.
Yeah.
Um, I just did like some extended brain dump and I had some questions for myself that I decided to answer in the moment. So it went pretty
Oh,
well.
that counts as reflection.
Yeah. Well, I thought about it and I was like, all right, what can I reflect on? I was like, oh. And also one thing is I wondered if I would have benefited from because there were a couple days where the weather was nice and I decided to go out and like I went on a really long bike ride. I went on a fucking hike in the park. So like while I was like still sickish.
Hmm.
So I wondered if I hadn't done that, if I would have been well sooner. But I just like really felt like I needed to do those things.
I mean, that's still helpful though. The purpose of the reflective questions are to tie in your previous week's experience with what you expect for your future week. So
Yeah,
you did a pretty good job on
I guess I
that.
did it. How about you?
Um, Kind of similarly, I did a lot of my reflection previously, and so I kind of incorporated some of that in there, but then I finished early and I started thinking about one of the reviews that I put off for a while for
Hmm.
Booksprout. And I started kind of thinking about how one book that that I've been putting off reviewing because it was a long one. I started kind of plotting things based on my notes, and it had me start going off on tangents about why I felt this way about this aspect of it. And there's still lots more that I want to explore, but it kind of planted the seeds of me to start thinking about later on as I review it. Because usually when I'm reviewing the book, it's not just about reviewing the book, it's about assessing my own feelings about it and why I feel those things
Yeah.
and why it hit a certain way or didn't. Kind of what happened when I was talking about Gilded with you, where like in
Mhm.
real time, my interpretations kind of shift the more I talk about it. So it's kind of that process. That's why my reviews take so long, is because it shifts so much just while I'm chatting about it with the text on the screen.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, like you
But
said before, you have to go through every little thing, which I'm sure defines how your review is going to be. And you really care about the way that um, you're giving information.
yeah. Yeah. And it's also nice to go back and look at it later too for my own references. Like,
Hmm.
oh, I remember feeling some kind of way about this book, but I don't remember this aspect. And I'll go back and read my old reviews, even just from a few months ago, and I'll be like, wow, I can't believe I wrote all this.
Yeah.
Wow, I forgot about this aspect of that book. Yeah, I did feel some kind of way about that. Totally forgot that was in there. And so I like doing these thorough reviews because it helps me like engage with the media a different way as well.
Hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, so this one's gonna definitely take multiple bouts, but it's really it's impactful. I get a lot out of it.
Yeah.
So that was part of my reflection was plotting out the beginnings of this particular review. Cool. So our next section is top 20. So we're gonna pluck things from our brain dump mostly, some of the reflective questions. And it doesn't have to be exactly 20 things, but the main thing is trying to cap it at that, so we don't overwhelm ourselves. And we want to come up with the most important tasks, ideas, concepts that we want to focus on for the next week that we will eventually add to our calendars. So we'll spend 15 minutes for that, and then we'll come back.
Thank you.
All right, that's our time for the top 20. How do we feel?
Do it actually. I got caught up in doing a thing. Um, but I have one from last week. Um, that I've been adding to like a top 20 all week, basically. So if something comes
Oh,
into my mind, I add a page with the information that I want in there.
mhm.
So I don't really have anything to do to my top 20
Okay.
since I
Well,
was
that's
off.
good. Yeah, that's true. You kind of already did it. Um, well, I did a lot of my top 20 in the brain dump.
Mm,
Um, So, and that seems to be the thing that I've been doing lately is sometimes I use my brain dump for just writing or mostly writing, but lately I've been doing more like jotting stuff down that happen to end up being like 20 things or right around or less.
mhm.
Um, so most of mine was spent on that and then just some restructuring and reorganizing, report prioritizing accordingly.
All right, cool.
So, next is our last section here. So we will basically, we will add things to our calendar. We'll take 10 minutes. It'll be things from our top 20, but we'll also want to account for things like breaks, relaxing, appointments, and non-committal times, non-communicative times, and also the weather and chores and whatnot. So we'll take 10 minutes for that, and then we will come back and wrap up for the day.
Thank you.
Mhm. Okay, so that is our time.
All right. Well, how do you feel?
Um, I feel a little foggy, but understandably so.
Yeah.
And I feel a little bit better about the week to come, knowing that it's not going to be clean, it's not going to be perfect, but
Mhm.
it's going to be about recovery and getting things back on track. So that makes me feel a little bit better about it. And I've got some important things plotted out. So just got to remember that it's not going to be like other ones where I log off and I'm like, alrighty, let's do this. Let's take this
Yeah.
on. This is going to be incredible. Let's go, go, go. Right now, I'm just like, all right,
Nah.
let's see how this goes. We've got things in place. Let's take it one step at a time.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we just need a week like that.
Good for you. Oh,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's do that for you want to do it for this next week?
yeah.
Okay.
It
Let me pull up
is
my calendar too while I'm thinking about it.
March 16th to 22.
Yeah.
Okay. Ready?
Hmm.
The universe is gifting an upbeat, festive St. Patrick's Day on Tuesday. Even if you are still feeling caught up in the lingering after effects of the winter doldrums, spring is just around the corner. So take this opportunity to get outside, celebrate, and have fun. If you're feeling moody or temperamental at Wednesday's new moon, try to harness your inner torment and funnel it into a creative endeavor that will bear fruit over the next year. Mercury goes direct on Friday and will finally wave goodbye to misunderstandings and technical glitches.
Oh.
A wave of mental clarity fills the air, bringing a sense of renewed peace and harmony with those around us. Friday is also an astrological new year as the sun enters Aries and starts a new cycle through the zodiac. It's never too late to implement good habits and resolutions. Weekend outlook. Saturday is on fire. Whether you feel like exercising or getting in shape or enjoying boisterous good times with friends, this is a dynamic day. So get out of the house, take part in the joys of the outside world.
Hmm.
Sunday's energies are dreamier than and more romantic, making it ideal for lounging, cuddling, dating, and creating.
Hmm.
Tips for a 5-star week. With the new moon, a new astrological year, and Mercury direct, this week is all about fresh starts and adopting a positive, optimistic outlook. I can do that.
Okay. Yeah. We are going somewhere on Saturday. We have a masquerade ball for like the little Ren Fair thing that we have like an hour from here.
Uh-huh.
They're doing spring and fall masquerade things this year. And so we're going to go to the spring one since it's so close. And luckily, the hodgepodge thing that I put together for Ren Fairs just happens to be like spring themed. So I can just wear what I already have.
Cool.
And I'm excited. I'm just going to have to print off like a mask. Um, so yeah, I am going to get out of the house on Saturday. And I
Wow.
am anxious for that wave of mental clarity.
Mm.
Let's bring it on.
Also, it says to party on St. Patrick's Day, so
Yeah.
maybe there
Alrighty.
will be some green herb inspired times.
Oh, yeah, that is a good point.
Hmm.
All right.
Okay,
Well,
my friend, are we on to next week?
yeah, if we have any bye weeks, I'm gonna need to manually put those in my calendar because new phone.
All
It's
right.
got a lot of the stuff saved over from Google calendars, but like I don't have the ones that I put in manually for bye weeks.
Our
So,
next one is the 29th.
March.
Yep.
Okay, yep, I don't have that in here, so I'm glad you told me that.
Also, I was going to be out of town that day and now I'm not, so I don't need that
Oh,
day off.
okay.
So we
Well
should do
then,
it.
we'll just leave it as is, and then let me know when we need another buy, and I'll put it in
Um,
here.
I will do that. And I also want to, hold on. Um, Look at April. Is there anything for April?
Mm, I mean, Easter's on the 5th, but I don't know that that matters for us.
Okay. We'll talk next week about what week we want to take off or if we do.
Okay.
We'll leave as is.
No problem. I feel like the past 2 months have been our craziest in a long time and
Yeah.
probably for a long time.
Yeah,
So it might not have to have as many bye weeks in the coming
that's
months.
true.
We'll see.